The cold wind howled through the streets as Keanu Reeves, dressed in torn clothes and an old beanie, walked along the sidewalk. His face was partially hidden under a hood, his hands shoved deep into his pockets. He had heard unsettling rumors about how certain police officers mistreated the homeless, and he wanted to see the truth for himself. As he walked past a row of closed shops, he saw a few homeless people curled up under blankets, trying to shield themselves from the bitter night air. He found an empty bench near a police station and sat down, hunching his shoulders as if exhausted. The street was relatively quiet, but soon a police officer patrolling the area noticed him. The officer, a tall man with a rigid posture, walked up and glared down at Keanu. "You can't sit here," he said sharply. Keanu looked up, his voice soft. "I just need a little rest, officer." The officer scoffed. "This isn't a shelter. Move along." Without waiting for a response, he grabbed Keanu's arm and yanked him up, shoving him toward the street. People passing by barely glanced at the scene. Keanu stumbled but caught himself. He gave a small nod and shuffled away, making his way toward a small diner nearby. The moment Keanu stepped inside the diner, conversations hushed. The cashier, a young man in his early 20s, immediately tensed at the sight of his ragged clothes. Keanu walked up to the counter, his voice polite but tired. "Can I get a glass of water?" The young man hesitated, looking over at the manager, who stood with his arms crossed. "We don't give out freebies," the manager said coldly. "Either order something or leave." Keanu sighed and dug into his pocket, pulling out a few crumpled bills. He placed them on the counter and asked, "Just a coffee, please." The cashier reluctantly took the money, and within minutes, a steaming cup was placed in front of him. Keanu took his cup and sat near the window. Just as he took his first sip, the door swung open and two officers walked in. One of them immediately noticed Keanu. He nudged his partner and whispered something before walking over. "You again?" the officer muttered, standing over him. "Didn't I tell you to move along?" Keanu put his coffee down. "I'm just having a drink, officer." The second officer chuckled. "I bet he's just waiting for an opportunity to ask for money," he scoffed. Keanu stayed silent, watching their reactions. Then he decided to test them further. He clutched his stomach suddenly, groaning as if he were in pain. The first officer sighed, looking annoyed. "Oh, come on, don't start this act here." Other customers glanced over, but no one spoke up, except for a woman sitting nearby. The woman in her mid-40s frowned at the officers. "Hey, can't you see he's not well?" she said firmly. "Shouldn't you at least check if he's okay?" The officers exchanged glances but didn't budge. "Lady, we deal with this all the time," one of them said. "He's probably just pretending." Keanu groaned again, holding his head. The woman looked outraged. She pulled out her phone. "Fine. If you won't do your job, I'll record this and let people decide if this is how police should treat someone in distress." That got their attention. The first officer stiffened, his expression shifting uneasily. The second officer took a step back, clearing his throat. "No need for that," he muttered. Just then, the diner's door swung open again, and another officer stepped inside. A senior officer. He had sharp eyes and a presence that commanded respect. He took one look at the situation and frowned. "What's going on here?" he asked. The woman immediately spoke up. "These two officers were about to throw this man out, even though he's clearly not well." The senior officer's expression darkened as he turned to the two younger men. "Is that true?" he demanded. They stammered, trying to justify themselves, but the woman's phone was still recording. "Sir, we thought—" one of them began, but the senior officer held up his hand. "Enough. You should know better." Just as the tension reached its peak, Keanu finally decided to end his test. He sat up straight, pulling back his hood and adjusting his beanie. The moment his face became visible, the officers froze. The woman, still holding her phone, gasped audibly. "Wait! You're Keanu Reeves?" the first officer whispered, his face draining of color. The entire diner fell silent. The second officer looked like he wanted to disappear. The senior officer's eyes widened, but instead of shock, a slow smirk formed on his lips. "Well, this just got interesting," he muttered. Keanu leaned back in his chair, looking directly at the two younger officers. "I wanted to see how people like me, people who have nothing, are treated by those who are supposed to serve and protect." He tilted his head slightly. And I see now that not everyone is treated with the respect they deserve. The woman, still recording, had the widest grin on her face. Oh, this is going to be